Now we will add our functionality for plugins. If a client wants to have a disable weekend, you add a feature. Your second client wants the same feature, your third client wants the same feature, you add the copy, you give them. There is a bug you fix in one, but you forgot to fix in other two. But with the plugin, it is just one single piece of code and you can use it anywhere. Now we can add functionality for our plugin. So let's open the plugin folder and we open the date picker. Now inside the date picker, we will add our plugin functionality. We don't need any separate file. We will add it in our date picker, and date picker will handle our plugin functionality. So first we will add the option in here. So we can actually install a plugin to the date picker. So we need an option in here. That option is plugin, and it will be an array of plugin. So we can pass array of plugins that we want to use, and then we need to have a place where we can install store the plugin. So we'll say this dot plugins, and it will be a new map. So this is where we will store our plugins, and next we need to install the plugin. So whenever we pass a plugin that we want to use, we have to install it in order to use the plugin. So before we render it, let's put it here. We'll say this dot install plugins. Now let's create this install plugin method. So it's simple. We add it here, install plugins, and in here we'll say this dot options. From the options we can get the value plugins. Now first we check if there is no plugins array, or we can say plugins dot length is 0. It means there is no plugin. We return it. Now if we have the plugin, so for that let's add the for loop item inside of our plugins array, and we'll check if it is array of is array. So inside our plugins array we can have array of array. It means like it will be like this. So we'll say this is a plugin, this is our plugin 1, and then we have one more array that will be plugin 2, and it will have an object that will have the data. So it will go like this. So if it is an array, we will check it and we can use it. If it is not, it means we are only adding the single plugin. So for that, let's add the check in here. If it is array, then we'll say this dot use. This use method we will create it, and we'll pass it item of 0 and item of 1. Else we can simply say this dot use and the item. So this is our install plugin method. Now we need use method. So after the install plugin, let's add use. It will take plugin name and options. First, we need to validate the plugin. So whenever we want to install the plugin, it should have a name and it should have an install method. So right now we are just adding the functionality in our date picker to install the plugin, and when we actually create the plugin, then you will see why this method will make more sense. So in here, first we will validate the plugin. So we should have a plugin, and if we don't have the plugin dot name or type of plugin dot install, so we will have a method install on plugin. Whatever plugin we want to use, we will have method on that, and it will be a install plugin, the install method. it's function. So if it is not function, we'll add console dot warning. So warn, we'll say invalid plugin must have name and install method, and we'll just return from here. Second, we need to check if a plugin is already installed. So we'll check if this dot plugins dot has plugin dot name. If we already have this plugin installed, we'll add a warning. We'll say plugin and plugin name. So plugin with this name is already installed. Already installed, and we will just return from here. Next, if these two checks are passed for a particular plugin, then we can add our plugin, we can install the plugin. So we'll say, so this is how we install a plugin. So we will have the plugin, and that plugin will have an install method, and we'll pass this reference, and we'll pass the options. And we are installing this return value of this plugin so we can clean up our plugin later. Once we destroy our date picker, we have reference to destroy that plugin as well. Now we'll say this dot plugins dot set. We want to set a plugin name, so we'll say plugin dot name, and here is the value. So value is, this is the plugin, and for the cleanup, this is the cleanup method. Type of cleanup equals to function. Then we say, so if it is type of function, we say this is our cleanup method, else it's null. And then we will emit an event, this dot event bus. Okay, not inside it, outside it. We'll say this dot event bus dot emit, will emit an event plugin installed. So we will extract this into our events.js file. For now, let's just skip it, and we'll say this is the plugin name. And if there is any error, we will just console log the error. Failed to install plugin, and the name of the plugin is plugin.name, and here is the error. And finally, we will return from here this. So we are returning this, so we can like on the use method, we can use again the next use method. So this enables the chaining. So this is our use method. Now let's see, our use method is done. Now let's go to our destroy method. This is where we will clean up all the plugins. So for name and entry for this dot plugins, this is not a for, this is off, and inside it we'll say if entry dot cleanup. If we have a cleanup method, then we'll say again try and catch. If we have the cleanup method, we'll say entry dot cleanup, we will call that method, And if there is any error from that method, we can just say console.error, error cleaning up plugin, and here's the name of the plugin, and this is the error. Then we'll say this dot plugins dot clear. Now we are clearing our complete plugins array. So this is the basic of our plugin. Now we need actual plugin so we can use them. So for that, let's create a plugins folder, and inside it we'll create two plugins. Both are very simple, but we will understand how actually plugin works. So we'll say min max date. So it will enable the min and max date functionality. So in here, let's add it here. So export const min max date plugin. It's an object. Inside it, we will add the name. So first thing, we need the name for the plugin, which is required. So we'll say min max date. And second, the install method. The install method will take two parameters, picker, which is if we look at our calendar view, calendar view, not calendar view, the date picker. So inside it, let's go up. We have the use, and you see here the install, it takes two things, this and the option, and this belongs to the date picker class. So that is our date picker. So we can add it like this, the picker, and the second is options. By default it's empty object, and inside it we can say we'll have min and max values from our options. And then first we need to check. If we don't have these two value, then we can say this plugin will not work. We'll say console error. The warning will say min max date plugin, no min or max date provided. So if there is no min and max date provided, we can just add this warning to console. Then we can just return this one from here for the cleanup method, because there is nothing to clean, but we still have to return it. Next is, let's just normalize the day. So we can add some string min and max date. We need to convert it into actual date. So let's add it here. First, min date, it will be, if we have the min, let's go and use our date method. The date object will give it min dot get full year, and next we need min dot get month, and next is min dot get date. Else we can say it's null. This is our min date. Let's do same for the max date. If we have the max, we can say new date max dot get full year, max dot get month, and max dot get date. Else we can say it's null. Okay, now let's call our add hook method. Why we are calling add hook method? Let's add it first, and then you will understand why we are calling the add hook method from our date picker. We'll say picker dot add hook, because this is a hook, because we are trying to modify the data using a plugin. So we need the hook. So we need a hook before day render. So before the day render, we want to modify the data because we are rendering the min and max date. So we need a day render hook. So we'll say before day render, first let's get the date, new date, day dot year, day dot month, and the day dot day. This day is a day data, and then we'll add it here. So if min date and day date is less than min date, so the date is less than the min date, it means we want to disable that day. So we'll say disabled true, and for the max date we can say if max date and day date is greater than max date, then we can say again day dot is disabled equals to true, and then we can return the day from here, whatever day value is. So this is this remove hook, this returns the function that we can use, and we will return it, so we can actually remove it when we clean up the plugin. So in here we will just return remove hook. Then we did the name export, we can do the default export as well. So export default min max plugin. Now let's create our second plugin, the disable weekend. We'll add it here. We'll say disable weekends.js. Let's create export const disable weekends plugin. First thing we need name. So let's add the name for this plugin. It's disable weekends. Second, the install method, it takes picker and option 2 parameters. And again we have the same thing, remove hook. It will come from picker dot add hook, and this time we will again call the before day render because we want to disable a particular day, and we'll say before day render is the day data, and we'll check one thing, if day dot is weekend, if it is a weekend we'll say day dot is disable equals to true. If it is weekend, we want to disable the date, and then we return it from day. And finally we return the remove hook, and we can add the default export default disable weekends plugin. So now we have two plugins, disable weekend plugins and min max day plugin. Now let's open our index.html file, what we are doing it here. So first, okay, now one more thing, this date picker, I will rename it to black and white date picker. It's just for the branding. Now we are close to the course, we will make it a brand. You can use it any other name. I am using the black and white date picker because when you publish this plugin, this is what user will be able to use it. So you can use your name or any other name you want to use. So I'll call it black and white date picker, and then inside it the class name we need to update. So whatever class name I have here, black and white date picker, I will add it here. So say black and white date picker. Now this update is only in this file, all the previous file stays same, no need to change it, only here because we are almost end to the course. So this is our black and white date picker file, and we import the date picker, then we have imported two plugins, and let's see how we are using it. So we have imported the date picker plugin, and for the picker one, what we are doing here, we say dot, we are just calling this event, we are checking on this event log, there is no change. For the picker 2 we have disabled the weekend. So let's see how we are doing it here. So black and white date picker, and then we are passing it as an object. We say this is my disable weekend plugin. For picker 3 we are passing it like this. So we say I want to add a plugin with an option, so we are doing it like this. And for picker 4 we say this is my first plugin, it has no option. Second plugin, the name and the options are there. Okay, now if we check, okay, it's not working. Let's see the error if there is any. Okay, it says picker.add hook is not a function. Okay, so picker is our black and white date picker. We are calling the add hook method. Do we have add hook method here? Let's search. Add hook, no, we don't have it. Okay, so the add hook method exists in our calendar view. This is where our hooks are installed, but we don't have the public API that exposes these hooks, this add hook to date picker. So for that we need to add a method here. So in here we'll say add hook. I'll give it hook name and callback, and this will call this dot view dot add hook, and we'll pass it hook name and callback. So now let's see. Okay, see the one line, the errors are gone. Let's see if it is working. Click here, weekends are disabled, date range is there. So let's go back to the HTML file and start with our picker one. So picker one, we did not edit anything. It's a normal date picker, everything is working fine. Second is picker 2, we say disable weekends. So we want to disable the weekend, we check here, see weekends are disabled, they are not clickable. Third is min and max days, next 30 day only. So for that we did it like this. So we calculate the data here, and then we say this is min and max date plugin, and this is the min date and this is the max date. So we gave it options as well with the plugin name. So when we check this here, you see the next 30 days are enabled. We can go back, go next year, all dates are disabled. Next, fourth is disable weekend and the min max together. So if we check it here, weekends are disabled and the next 30 days are only selectable. We cannot select any other date. So our both plugins are working fine. Now there are a few more things that we can add. So if you feel that you want to add some more methods from our calendar view or slot manager or any other, you can just add those methods here, and then you can access it, the picker dot anything. So let's say the add hook, we are calling it here. It was not available because the picker did not have it, and when we added it here, it is available there. Now let's add two more. We can add the like let's say we want to have the go to specific date. So now when we have this here, the picker 4, we can call, see here we are calling the on method, right? And the on method is this one. This is the public API. The on method, it is coming from the event bus. So whenever this event happens, this is the callback. So this is how we expose a method to the public for use. So this is called facade pattern. We are just exposing the very minimum functions, not the actual functionality. Actual functionality is inside our event bus or state, and for this it is inside the view. So now we can add two more. If you want, you can add many more, but I will just add two more. So I'll say go to, and this will enable us to go to a specific month and year. I'll say this dot state dot set view. Let's say it's a month and it's year. So this is our go to method. Next we can say set slot name and renderer. For that we call this dot view dot set slot, and here is the slot name and here is the render function. Then we call this dot view dot render, and for this we give it this dot state dot get state. So like this you can expose more methods, and then you can use when you create an instance of date picker. So this is our plugin module. So we are almost done with the course. Next is our production, where we will just bundle up and create the CSS for the production ready. Now our plugin system is complete. We have plugins that we can use or we can remove. We now have a professional grade component architecture: event bus, state manager, calendar view, slot manager, hooks, plugins. In next module, we go for production: CSS styling, TypeScript types, building for NPM, documentation, and ready to publish. I see you in next episode.